opportunity to answer the question that could be the question of our lifetime, which is, are we alone? Answering that question starts at the moon. The moon is a witness plate.
What in the world happened to Karoline Leavitt? And why is no one talking about the bruise on her eye the other day?
Are we not going to talk about Karoline Leavitt having a black eye? You can literally see like where she was punched and then like all of the discoloration under the makeup, and then her hair she's trying to hide. In the latest press conference, I think she's wearing like a pink floral something. She has a black eye.
Some people are saying she has a toddler, so maybe it was just an innocent injury. That could be true, but one question still remains. Why did none of the media outlets talk about her black eye? Now, the answer might be hidden in the next story. An unflattering image of Karoline Leavitt recently disappeared from major photo libraries. It was taken during a White House briefing, shot from a low angle while she was holding her son, criticized for showing an unfavorable view, quietly pulled from circulation. AFP says it wasn't forced. They say it simply didn't meet editorial standards. But here's where it gets weird. Same event, same moment. Plenty of other photos are still live, just not that one. So was this just editorial cleanup? Or is this part of a bigger pattern where the media only shows what they want us to see? Now, moving on, we need to talk about the Charlie Kirk case because it just exploded. A new court filing claims the ATF could not tie the fatal bullet to the rifle linked to Tyler Robinson.
And so the big news yesterday was that the bullet, which has now been conveniently reduced to a fragment, happened very quickly over a couple of days, has come back, and the ATF has concluded that they can't connect to the gun. It's inconclusive. And now the prosecution wants the corrupt FBI to conduct their own analysis.
The bullet that killed Charlie Kirk could not be matched to Tyler Robinson's rifle. The weapon they said was used is now in question. And that is a huge blow to the case. From day one, they built the entire narrative around that rifle. The shell casings, the text messages, claims about how rare the gun was.
I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus.
Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique.
All of this was supposed to be airtight, even though every expert knew a bullet from a rifle of that caliber could not have hit Charlie.
Well, we definitely penetrated our water jugs, and I don't think this is going to help to stop the conspiracy theories. All right, guys, I figured this is probably what would happen. I was trying to remain optimistic, but that right there is why people are skeptical on the official story. The 30-06 is a very hard round to stop.
And now it gets even more suspicious. The sheriff who arranged Tyler Robinson's surrender resigned at the exact same time.
So I get a call from my friend, and his said, "Hey, how you doing?" Good. And it's not, he's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. And at 8:02 p.m. he calls me. Hey, I can tell his voice is kind of shaky. So my first thought is, who died? Like who's he going to tell me that died? And then I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily."
Keep in mind, we still do not have any video of Tyler Robinson surrendering. That footage somehow vanished.
After learning of this, I submitted a public records request to obtain any video of Tyler Robinson walking into the jail facility. Washington County responded saying there were no records responsive to the request, as Robinson did not go to the jail area. Our request for any holding room video was denied. A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office. Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
And now the man overseeing the arrest has left the force just as the case takes a major turn. TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett responded by claiming his company is winning the information war. Of course, Andrew is also the same guy who first told us the bullet did not escape Charlie's neck because of a miracle from God and Charlie's strong bones.
It's almost like the internet is developing antibodies to some of the crazy stuff, because what we saw, the headline drops, predictable, all the usual suspects rush in, take advantage of it, take the story where it didn't go. But then you saw something different. You actually saw some sane voices, some people pushing back. And by this morning, it felt like a lot of the zaniness had been muted. Of course, some people are not going to hear basic arguments or common sense, but it did feel like there was a bit of a detente, and that was a first in some of these waves that we've seen. And so I'm actually pretty encouraged about the developments. And like I said, it feels like we're almost building up antibodies to this, and people are getting their courage to speak out and speak some of the truth, whereas before we just, we saw this stuff run rampant.
Now let's move on to the new moon mission. During a press conference, the astronauts said something that raised a lot of red flags.
The opportunity to answer the question that could be the question of our lifetime, which is, are we alone? When we go out and meet people, people ask that all the time. Have you seen evidence of this? What can we learn? And the fact is that answering that question starts at the moon. The moon is a witness plate to our entire solar system's formation. It's a stepping stone to Mars, where we might have the most likelihood of finding evidence of past life.
As you can see, they say one of the major goals of the mission is to search for alien life on planets like Mars. On its own, that may not sound like a huge deal, but this is happening at the same time politicians in the US are talking about alien-human hybrids and strange breeding programs.
Just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted, with the United States Army, came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
Even Vice President J.D. Vance has been making some wild claims. He believes strange creatures may be among us, but he is not calling them aliens. He says they might be something worse.
All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov.
You know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion. Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump raised eyebrows by claiming the mystery drones flying over sensitive sites belong to a foreign military. He said this right before discussing the new bunker that's going under the White House.
There have been drone swarms flying over sensitive military installations in the U.S. over the last couple weeks. The reports are they don't look commercial and they can't be jammed. Is this another country's military?
I don't think so. We have a great system of... Do you notice that over the last 4 or 5 days you haven't seen very many drone hits, right? We have some unbelievable anti-drone weaponry that's incredible.
There was this incident down at Barksdale, though, where apparently a whole swarm of drones for a couple hours was over the flight line. There's a lot of really important planes down there.
Yeah.
How concerned are you that this is something...
Well, I'm not concerned. I know about it. They've checked that out, and they've gotten to the bottom of it. You have a lot of people now that fly these things all over the place, and we're coming down very hard on them. But we're able to take them out militarily. We're able to take them out very easily. And a new thing is lasers. The lasers are becoming very, very effective.
Now, next up, we need to talk about a video claiming lockdowns may be coming back. A man just showed proof on camera, and it is setting off alarm bells. Not rumors, not guesses, actual contingency plans already being discussed behind the scenes. Here's what is reportedly on the table: mandatory work from home days, nationwide speed restrictions, controlled driving based on odd and even license plates, a major push into public transport and carpooling, a coordinated response tied to the global fuel supply.
So many people did not believe me when I said we might go into a lockdown due to the situation in Iran, but now I've got proof. Check this out.
Is bringing state and territory leaders together again to finally find an answer to the fuel crisis. Some drastic measures similar to the days of COVID could be on the table as the government braces for a worst-case scenario.
Questions fly about fuel supply.
The anxiety levels are as high as I've seen, maybe with some even higher than COVID.
The further measures they will consider based on the International Energy Agency's plan, encouraging 3 days work from home, 10 kilometres per hour lower speed limits, encouraging public transport and carpooling, and odd and evens number plate days in cities.
We are on the 1 yard line of this whole situation. This is like February of 2020, right before we went into lockdowns in March when the whole COVID disaster happened. You need to be prepared. I would start stocking up on things before things start running out or going up in price to the point where they are unaffordable. Get ready.
It is not being framed as a lockdown. No, it's being framed as a fuel response. Same playbook, different reason. At what point do temporary measures turn into full control again?